From the village to the marketplace to downtown Disney, we're breaking down the evolution of Disney Springs, plus a brand new segment, Let's Bring Back the Magic.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Bring Back the Magic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Theme Park Chuckle. Go on themeparkchuckle.com to grab you a funny based Disney t-shirt or two. And maybe like this one that's Let's Get Trashed t-shirt. It's a great t-shirt. You should get this shirt. I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I had an aneurysm. But anyway, go on Theme Park Chuckle. Get the Let's Get Trashed t-shirt you can wear around the Food and Wine Festival.
I have that shirt.
I am one of your hosts. I am Josh.
And I am his sister, Gina. And for those of you just joining us, welcome aboard. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you are watching on YouTube so you don't miss a minute of the magic. And hit follow if you're listening to us on Spotify. Also, we are available for your entertainment on social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok. Find us at BBT Magic Podcast.
Nice. And this program is rated TV 14, so younger viewers, please have your parents' permission when viewing. That is all. And a dynamite intro, I might say, by me. Because we like to pride ourselves on one take.
We had to prove it. We had to prove it this week, that it really is one take.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for that TikTok I told you I want to make.
Oh, my God. That's all the TikToks. Anyway, yeah, so we were discussing off-pod, as Gina likes to say, off-pod, some of the closings for places we may have enjoyed going. And our sister, Missy, she always talks about jelly rolls, which it's not a hot take for me or whatever. I'm just saying, I feel like that jelly rolls went downhill. No wonder they're closing.
No disrespect to the people that were the piano players there, though. That wasn't
I think it became a cast hangout.
Yeah.
For a while there, like it was like cast members went there. People that were in different productions would go there and sing and do stuff like that. That was always the case, but I feel like it just fizzled. And I'm like,
maybe.
Last time I went there, I felt like I don't know whose way. I'm like, maybe it was an off time. I went with like Brad and Katie a long time ago, and it felt almost like it feels a little dangerous in here. I don't know why. It was a vibe.
The last time I went was you, me, and other Josh.
Yeah.
That was the last time. I think I've been in Jelly Rolls 3 times, which is crazy because Boardwalk's our home resort. And back in the day when my best friend Karen at the time, we would go to Pleasure Island while Missy and Sean, her husband, would go to Jelly Rolls like every single night. That was like their go-to. She was the first person I thought of when that place was closing. But I think that piano bars as a whole, correct me if I'm wrong, have kind of dwindled out. Remember, you used to see like a Howl at the Moon everywhere you went.
It's a great place to go if you're going to get stupid drunk and want to sing. Yeah. That's what piano bars are for. Honestly, it is. It is. It's like if you go through and you're like, oh, I'm going to have X amount of cocktails and I'm going to start singing.
But the people there, like, I think they really did have, like, I don't want to say a cult following, but kind of because the piano players were exceptionally talented. I mean, they put on a great show. I think just sometimes the vibe, like, I don't even remember what the menu was like there. And then it's like, you have to commit because they're not going to let you just take up a chair and not spend money on it.
Well, we always talk about like Boardwalk being our home resort for the Disney Vacation Club and like going out on that thing. It's like there's a lot of memories I have, and one of them like it keeps like they're taking away things that I enjoyed. They took away. That's how you say that. They took away ESPN Club, where I'd watch football on Sundays, or I'd just go to have like a quick beer. Cocktail, whatever it is. And
not to be sexist, but that was a great
arcade.
guys
They had
hangout,
the arcade next
door.
door. Kids could go in and play and everything too. So you had, some appeal for everybody there. And the food was just passable, like bar food, but it wasn't bad at all.
No,
it was better
decent. I would use the word decent.
Well, the thing is, it's better than 90% of the walk-ups and stuff like that.
Yeah, better than theme park food.
Yeah, it's better than theme park food. But then Big River Grill, that's also closed down. So there's a lot of things that just keep going away. I'm anxious to see if they're going to level up anything, like as far as where Jelly Rolls is, what's going in, because I haven't really looked into that, I'll be honest with you. What's going in there? What's it going to be? Is it going to be something great? And also you got Atlantic Dance across from it, so it's like, but it feels like that's always like, okay, let's take
Isn't
it
that
back.
like 18 and over now or something like that?
Well, it's always been that way since it opened. It was always 18 and up.
Was it? But it wasn't always the
Don't
same
quote
vibe
me.
in there.
Yeah, it
'Cause
wasn't.
It
But the
used to
thing
be
is,
like
it's
a
high
swing
school
dance club. Yeah.
But you feel like everybody's just sitting around things like nobody's out there on the dance floor. It's a huge venue,
Which
but I feel like it's never
my
packed.
heart because it is so beautiful there, and the vibe of the boardwalk obviously shifts. And I know we're going to be talking about Disney Springs in this, but this is just small talk right now. But it leads into the idea of like entertainment and stuff. But it bothers me because like it is so beautiful inside Atlantic Dance, and like the idea was like kind of like a swing dance club, like you know, kind of a big like supper club kind of vibe. And I really feel like they could convert it to like a legit supper club there. That would be a great venue for that. I would love to see that happen. And you almost could put the piano entertainment in there and kind of revise. Disney, are you listening? Revise it to something along those lines.
They're like, nope.
And then maybe you put in Jelly Rolls, or where the other thing was something, you know, else, maybe more. I hate to say guys and girls, like, you know, especially in this day and age. I know people get mad when you say something's guy or something's girl, but I do feel like that, like a guy friendly kind of thing, or even just people that like that vibe, like the way ESPN used to be, or a really cool like whiskey bar. Yeah, there's girls, everybody's welcome, but something that would appeal to that kind of like more masculine vibe, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's 100% correct.
I think it would fit the boardwalk vibe too, because like big cake bake shop, guys go in there, but that is an exceptionally feminine aesthetic, obviously. So maybe something that balances it on the other end of the boardwalk that's like exceptionally masculine.
And with all the hoopla, like I said, I always feel like on some of the posts on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, I feel like I'm being trolled with either cake bake shop stuff or cheeseburger spring rolls.
You know who you are.
I'm like,
We love the attention.
It is what it is. But I am going to go back to cake bake to have dinner again and see. It'll be probably just me at this point. I'll be like, I'm going back by myself. I'm not taking a group of people and spending $400 on dinner again and then being like, oh, I'm disappointed. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was an off night. Hopefully I'll like it. Maybe I'll actually get sat inside the restaurant now.
I
Not
think
in that
that has a lot
outskirt
to do
garbage
with it.
part that they have there. I feel like you should get automatic 25% off. Like if you're showing me actually, you're only showing me like a third of the restaurant, I get a third off, you know, at least. Anyway, we're introducing a new segment into the podcast here, and it is...
Wet spaghetti. I was waiting for us to say it together. I thought we were going to say
Oh,
it.
want to do it again? Wet spaghetti. Nailed it.
Okay. You want me to explain what wet spaghetti is? This
Yeah,
is an
I figured-
idea
we
that
talked about that.
kind of crafted on our last trip, actually. I have this theory that a lot of times maybe Disney is like polling social media or, you know, going around and looking, because sometimes I think that people put out an idea and it gets so much traction that the rumor, I think, then comes to fruition. It's like, I ask myself, is this something Disney came up with? And somebody's like, oh, I heard this. And then Disney's like, great idea. Let's pretend like that was always our idea. You know, like you,
Yes.
when you always go, trademark. And like when I say an idea.
No, when you
you're
have
like,
an idea and I say, oh, let's just pretend it's mine.
right,
Okay.
exactly. So we thought, let's test something out. You know how they say spaghetti's done when you throw it against the wall and it
That's
sticks?
what I said to you when we were talking about it.
Yes.
I said, let's throw it at the wall, see what sticks.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said, great, let's name it Wet Spaghetti. So let's throw out an idea that we create and we say, I heard a rumor. It's really, we're just full transparency. Josh and I's ideas that we're saying, I heard a rumor. And then we see when it gets around and if it sticks and other people start circulating the rumor. And then if eventually it happens. Josh, what's your Wet Spaghetti?
Now with that brief summary,
it
it wasn't at all.
I hate it here.
Anyways,
I'm sorry. Talk more about the cake bake shop, Josh.
anyhow,
Go ahead.
my wet spaghetti, okay, or I've heard what's going to happen is during Food and Wine, there will be a cocktail cruise on Living with the Land.
I have also
So,
heard that.
I have heard that they're going to let you get on. You board with your drinks in
Yes.
hand.
Yes.
And it's after a certain time.
Certain
and
hour,
You get to go and
ticketed,
and you get to ride Living with
yeah.
the Land.
Special wristband maybe, so
Yeah.
they can make sure everyone's of age, and then you get your cocktail right before you get on.
Yeah,
like
but it's a specialty cocktail
Yes.
done just for it using
Yes.
ingredients from the land.
That I have also heard that, Josh. I have also heard there will be a special soundtrack to go with that experience.
And Gina's
But
gonna
it's
sing
just, you know, out there. Guys, if you're not following us on social, this is exactly why you should. And look for the video of the fireworks and you'll know what I mean. Those who
my
follow
God.
already know. But I have heard there will be a special jazz music soundtrack because what goes better with living with the land and cruising along that boat than a little jazz music? So we have heard this rumor. Have you guys heard this rumor? I don't know. But wet spaghetti.
That's your wet spaghetti.
Yeah.
moment.
Wet spaghetti for the week.
And I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's the most brief segment we've ever gotten into, but I
But
like
we had
it.
to make up for it with the explanation with being long.
Yeah, exactly. We're running out of time, guys. We're gonna play us off the music.
I have
here.
heard that is coming sometime in 2026, so we shall see.
Not this 2026, maybe
Yeah,
next.
no, this 2026. That could happen by next year. Disney can make that happen by next
So
year.
the episode for today, the main topic, and
Mm-hmm.
we've gotten to this topic I think quicker than most times.
Yeah, good, because there's a lot to break down.
Downtown Disney, then and now. We've
Mm-hmm.
all seen a massive transformation of that space. If you've
Mm-hmm.
been going to Disney since the 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever it is,
Yeah.
doesn't matter really what decade pre-2000 you went to Disney World, you were going to see a massive shift in what the downtown Disney area has
Right.
become.
An important clarification, though, because I do believe in California, it's still called Downtown Disney, isn't it? Don't they
Yeah, we
call
talk
it?
about Florida. We don't care
Right,
about
but I'm saying, so we're talking if you're new to the Disney area of what you
Yeah.
now know as Disney Springs.
Yes.
We're referring to it at one time it was called Downtown Disney and Pleasure Island and Westside and the Village and the Marketplace. It's changed names many
Well,
times.
it used to just be the Disney Village.
Right.
And we go through, and then it was actually the Marketplace. It was Disney Village Marketplace. And this was back in, I want to say 89.
Yeah, I think
something
it
like
started the Village, then it became the Disney Village Marketplace.
that. Yeah,
and then-
Disney Village Marketplace became in 1989, according to my cheat sheet. 1989.
Research!
Research!
What's going on
Getting
here?
crafty.
Dang it. I'm so unprepared.
But Disney Village Marketplace. Now, you had the sections of it. You always like, okay, you went down. We remember the old days when we go down there, we would stay like the Vacation Village or something. You go into the Gourmet Pantry.
Yes.
So Gourmet Pantry
Love
was
the
a little
Gourmet
tiny...
Pantry. It's where Earl of Sandwich was now, which is also
and
closing.
it was a tiny boutique, maybe somewhat grocery store, but not. I mean, it was like very simple things. If
Very
you
small.
wanted anything that wasn't, like the most simple thing, you weren't finding it
Right.
there.
Because
it was just
back
not
in
like
the
a store.
day, before DVC really launched out, and every single hotel ended up having their own little grocery mart there, because anywhere that has DVC properties has to have like groceries in there.
Yeah, well, they have
gift
like your
shop.
microwavable meals, frozen pizza.
Yeah,
stuff,
but they've
eggs,
got
milk,
the
that kind of
groceries
stuff.
if it's somewhere that has a DVC property.
Yeah, absolutely.
So prior to that, though, we're talking super early. That's where you went to get your little groceries. Essentially, was at the Gourmet Pantry. That was your Disney grocery store.
Well, I remember like when the Lego store went in and they were building. Our view was from in the whole Disney Village area. They had the little vacation villas, and we were staying in one long before it was Disney Institute, long before it was Saratoga Springs, all that stuff. We were staying there, and we see this like serpent coming out of the water. We're like, what's that gonna be? Is that a dragon? We're like watching this thing get built. Meanwhile, it's been there for a long time. You don't even realize how long this has been there. And then they keep expanding upon this stuff. I mean, you started out and it's just like, here's basically the marketplace. You went in there. And then when it got to the point where Pleasure Island opened, so you have Pleasure Island, which I feel like if we can unpack something, Pleasure Island's a good place to kind of start in this. The marketplace is just shops.
Because we lived through the era of both being too young to go to Pleasure Island and then finally hitting the age where we could go to Pleasure Island. So I think those are very
it was different things because you could be
perspectives.
18 to get in there,
Right.
but 21 to have fun.
Right. Mannequins, you had to be 21. That was definitely
That's exactly
21.
the way I said it. 18
Yes.
to get in, 21 to
everything
have
else,
fun
yeah.
because it was not fun when you were 18. You got to be like, hey, look at everybody drinking, having fun.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
just be over here at not mannequins because I
With my
couldn't get in
X's
there.
on my hands. Just kidding.
Yeah. Or you get all shifty like those kids do. They put like liquid bandage on their hands. They'll be like, here, and then peel it off.
I will never forget. It's such a weird memory to have. I had to be 18, 19 something, very different body back then. But I remember wearing this shirt that like tied in between the chest and it was like a crop top and it had long bell sleeves on it and it was black and white stripes and I had it on with like a pair of black leggings. And I remember getting dirty looks from other women at Pleasure Island and me just being like, I've made it.
Because back then they're like, this was supposed to be a hooker-free zone. And they're like...
Anyway, I just remember that outfit. I don't know why my hair was like long and like dirty blonde, my natural color. And it was just like...
They're like,
thinking-
she must be a local. She's down here
And
soliciting.
you know what's sad? I'm sure I felt like I was super fat in that outfit back then. I wish I was that fat now, but whatever.
Yeah.
That
I've always
fat.
been that fat.
Anyway.
Um,
But yeah, so Pleasure Island, for those who don't know, you would know it as the area where Gideon's is and Raglan Road. And
Yeah, as soon as you get
that
in there,
little
Terralina
section.
is and all that stuff. Like
until
as
you
far-
get to the bridge, like right where
Yeah.
you're landing at Planet Hollywood.
Boathouse, all that stuff.
How
Like
has Planet Hollywood lived through everything.
They redid it and moved basically like.
But it also
everything.
looks like the Death Star now. It was so cute
it
when it was
does.
blue and like lit up and like really. This is what I can't stand
Somebody
about
turned the lights off of Spaceship Earth.
Guys, this might be a hot take in a future episode, but I'm saying it now. I can't stand what they refer to as millennial gray. That era became, and maybe it's from way back in the day when they thought the future in the 2000s was going to be everything was silver, and they took a miss and everything became gray instead. And it's just like, oh, you know how we modernize it? We make it gray.
Well,
And
Eeyore
we
the
make
hell
it
out of it.
plain. Yeah, we make it plain, like what they did to World of Disney and made it industrial and plain. And I can't stand it. Like, so literally when I look at Planet Hollywood now, I'm like, it's the Death
You
Star.
should just queue up Eeyore every time. Nobody bothers me.
bother.
I'll just go over here and lose my tail.
But
again.
yeah, so that was the Pleasure Island section. It was fine to go through during the day because there were some little shops
Mm-hmm.
and stuff in there, but you had to be 18 and over to get into it. After
I
a certain
remember it was
hour.
like you had
and it was a separate admission.
You had 8 tracks. You had mannequins. You had Rock and Roll Beach
loved
Club.
Rock and Roll Beach
You
Club.
had
Comedy club.
there was a comedy club. There was a towards the end there was a country bar too that opened up. I'm trying to remember.
There was
the name of it.
Adventurers Club.
Adventurers Club
There
is
was
one where they go in there. It's like almost like a
Soundstage.
little social club.
BET
yeah.
Soundstage opened later as well. That was a later
That was shortly
addition.
before they closed it.
Yeah,
because
that
there-
was the best music in
it
there,
was,
man.
I will tell you right now,
time
but it
there.
like I think the thing is because popular music and a really cool spot will always draw locals in. And what happens is I think the demise, as my sidebar here, of Pleasure Island was the fact that vacationers weren't getting a vacation vibe from Pleasure Island.
lost its
because
Disney
it was
bubble.
like you got locals there,
Yeah.
and then you got like an element down there where people are like, "Oh, this is where we hang out," and this kind of stuff. And you're like,
Yeah.
people want to feel like somewhere like a Cheers vibe where you come in and you're accepted. That's why when you go into a hotel bar and you sit down, like, "Hey, what can I get you?" And like it's like a brand new experience, but everybody there's having that experience. When it's a locals kind of place at that point where it gets overrun with
Yeah.
locals, you feel like you are intruding upon somebody else's turf.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, I'm not saying this East Coast, West Coast rap. and
No, that's what I was
BET
going to say.
soundstage,
To
but it's
clarify,
like,
because in this day and age, we always have to. Josh saying that BET Soundstage was the demise doesn't have anything to do with any specific ethnicity of anyone or race. We're saying
No.
that like
No,
any
it's saying it
type
was a
of people-
popular club
It was
and that drew
popular,
locals
and no
in.
matter
Yeah.
what color your skin was or what age group you were in,
Yeah.
it was just a matter of Josh is right. When people go to Disney World, okay, not
That's
Disneyland.
the club I went to every time I
There,
went there.
it was my favorite. There is a bubble that they anticipate being in, right? You are in a bubble where you feel safe, you feel magic, you feel whatever. So where Pleasure Island was a Disney property, people went there and I think they were unaware of that it wasn't going to be a Disney bubble anymore.
Well,
it was
here's-
going to be a lot of
well, here's the
locals, a
other
lot of
thing.
people coming in just for that.
I remember going there. This is late 90s into 2000 kind of area. And when breakdancing made a resurgence, right?
Josh
So
was
out-
a B-boy, guys. Josh
Yeah.
was a B-boy. I'll find the videos. Just
So we'll find something somewhere, I'm sure. I think I do have a video somewhere.
oh my God, please send it to me.
No, I don't. So I'd stopped doing that when I landed on my neck, spinning on my head.
Mm-hmm.
Not good. That's probably I lost my hair. That's what happened.
Got a real good spin going there.
Well, the thing
Josh.
is, they used to like have some people, and that's where like I saw that demise because like the local people that come in there, they break
Yeah.
dance out in the like courtyard area
Yeah.
outside of 8 Tracks and like towards where Rock and Roll Beach Club was. And you'd have like this whole thing in the street because it was a dancing in the street kind of moment, but you felt like the air of the people that was down there and they were going through. It just wasn't.
Smoking rules were very different back
it was
then.
a totally different loitering kind of
You could drink in the street.
judgment zone. I'll put a judgment
Yeah.
zone on that.
And
Like
how
you
do
walk
you-
through and you feel like somebody's like, oh, somebody's talking about it like this. Disney doesn't feel like that. I'm sorry. Like Disney, when you go in it, any bars, restaurants in there, when you walk in, you feel like you're at home and you sit down,
Yeah.
you have your meal, you
Yeah.
do this, or even if you go to like a night spot,
Yeah.
you feel
So
like
this
kind
was
of
nothing
accepted
to
in
do
that.
with the venues. This was nothing to do with the cast members. We want to clarify that. This is the problem. 18 and over places that have alcohol are always going to be a problem anyway, because what is really to prevent someone from going and getting the drink, especially because you could drink in the streets there and just pass it on. So you bring one friend that's 21 and they're going to pass it on. Everyone does it.
I
Don't
think it was
lie.
a massive
Everyone does it.
liability issue for Disney.
It was a liability there. Then you've got people that can come in just off the streets. Anybody can drive down there and they're like, okay. And now it's like a tourist central. So you figure there's a lot of vulnerability in tourist places. So you've got that. You've got it mixed with anywhere that, you know, there's a lot of drinking. It really did kind of ironically probably mimic the real Pleasure Island in the story where it's like, uh-oh, be careful. What's going to happen to you
Was
while
his
you're
name
hanging out here?
Stromboli or whatever
Yeah,
was
it's
in
like,
there?
there's going to be a problem. Lampwick is making its way, you know. So I do think that might have been the issue, but it was fun because it celebrated midnight, New Year's Eve. Every single night at midnight, they let off fireworks. So
They really wore out that Jock Jam CD. I swear to God.
Y'all ready for this? Let's get ready to rumble.
Y'all ready for this?
But for us, the comedy club was a must. We always went to the comedy club. That was a must for us. We had to do that. That was really fun. Really enjoyed that. I enjoyed actually Rock and Roll Beach Club was my kind of vibe at the time. But then I also loved, there was a band outside that played music or DJ. And I love dancing in the streets because there's one thing I've never liked about nightclubs is people all on top of me. I don't like crowds. I remember being at 8 Tracks with you and be like, we've got to leave. I feel like I'm practically freaking my brother in this place, which is a no-no. I don't want to be this close to him dancing because you couldn't. Everybody was so squished.
Well, 8
in
Tracks,
there.
that dance floor in there was tiny to begin with.
Yeah, so
it
that
was like very,
miserable.
very much like an old like black and white checkered.
But I
dance
remember
floor kinda
vividly
deal.
saying that to Karen. I was like, we got to get out of here. I'm freaking my brother, and I don't like this.
Yeah, let's
Like,
just move on from that. 'cause
I
the
know,
whole
but
image is
mannequins
gross.
was never my vibe. I never was into mannequins.
I think it's like a warehouse party. It was like
Yeah.
Blade, like the ceiling, like all the
Yeah.
lights were gonna go down, and then blood was gonna rain from the ceiling.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I don't think I ever went in the Adventurers Club, and I hear that was one of
The
the
Adventurers
coolest
Club is more
places.
like you go walk through. You have like
And
it's a
isn't-
social aspect kind of thing. We talk like it was like a show.
That where they took the inspiration from Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. Was
Yeah,
the
kind of,
inspiration
yeah.
From
Yeah.
Kungaloosh from the Adventurers Club, I think. But it was fun. You went in. It was a separate admission. If you had annual pass, it did include Pleasure Island. But you went, and I think that's the cover.
Or PI, as people would call
PI,
it.
yeah.
I'm like, just call it.
Yeah, they did try to brand it that way after a while, but it was the nightlife.
It had the big
area.
neon sign out with Jessica Rabbit's leg, like
Yes.
swinging there. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Like Jessica Rabbit back here.
Yes, that was. Or over here that you. I don't think can you see in my shot.
No,
You
you've
can't
got
see
one
my
too, but it's
shot.
in the corner. You can't see that.
But yeah, so it was. I'm trying to think if there was what the separate dining or was dining all contained in the marketplace because it was.
I don't.
They
there was
turned
there was nothing that was food oriented sit down stuff that was within the confines of Pleasure Island as I remembered
don't
it.
know, I
Then
feel
after Pleasure Island,
I feel like
Westside. Westside opened up with different restaurants down there with
Cirque du
bongos and all
Soleil,
that,
House
and
of
Cirque du
Blues,
Soleil and all. So we're moved
movie
past
theater.
the thing. Well, the end of like as you're walking down now, like as you're going over that bridge to get into the downtown Disney Westside area, like towards Plain Hollywood, that basically was right, kind of like almost the same there. Like when you cross over that bridge to get to the new restaurant side and everything. When I'm sorry, what I'm saying is that the stage for Pleasure Island, the midnight countdown was right
It was right there where Edison and
basically
Enzo
around that
ran Enzo's.
area. Yeah. So
that's where
you
it
go
ended.
through, you go past that, you go down to where the restaurants were, and they had
Right.
all that. And then you had, let's talk about Disney Westside stuff. So when Westside went in, and the restaurants like Wolfgang Puck's was there.
The big movie theater was a big anchor there.
The big movie theater stuff. Planet Hollywood was a big deal when it first went there. House of Blues was down there. Disney Quest. Disney Quest was the interactive indoor theme park where you went through and you did stuff. You could build your own little
Washing
roller coaster
machine.
thing. Yeah. And you get it in an F-18, F-14 flight simulator or something.
No, thank you.
But it was neat. Like it was a
neat.
cool
Just
little...
no air, so I wasn't feeling that. I
Yeah,
talked about that on
yeah.
a previous episode.
Yeah, not fun. But I actually I remember seeing Wyclef in person at House of Blues. And it was like on a whim. I was like, Wyclef's playing Friday. Let's go see him. And I swear I'm as close to them as I am to you in this studio, since we're actually in the same place now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wow, and there's not that many people there. I go, how did this even survive on tour? Because it's like, but you could see a lot of great bands at House of Blues. You still can.
I mean, House of Blues, they have like ticketed events there because they do
That's
get
what it is.
major,
We bought tickets to it.
major
Yeah, it's in their
music
venue.
acts.
Yeah, it's in their venue because it's the
And their
restaurant
food's
part. And there's
decent.
venue.
I would say that their food is decent.
No, I like their food. That's fine.
Yeah.
I actually want to try there's one spot that I haven't got a chance to. I think I've been to the bar and had like some finger food stuff there. Is Haleo. I would like the Jose Andres.
I haven't tried there yet.
Yeah.
either. I also
that
haven't
restaurant.
tried Frontera Cocina yet, which Danny Nick said that they really liked.
I have. It wasn't great.
Well,
but
they said it was better than
okay.
Paradiso, though.
Paradiso's not great. Like that is like Paradiso 37. It's like the taste of all the things you didn't like in America's. No, it's okay.
It's all right.
That's also the place I think Dad ate the queso with a spoon, or I want to say the guacamole. Something came and he thought it was soup.
I think it was a kid.
And then when he was told it wasn't soup, he still did it. This is where we get our refined, I don't know what you want to call it.
Okay, wait.
These are
Okay.
our dad eats queso with a
Also something that I sometimes wonder, do I miss? I think I don't. I'm not sure. There used to be 3 bus stops. It was you could get off at the marketplace, which was the old school
Pleasure
section.
Island
The thing, because
or
like Josh
Disney
has said,
Westside.
the Village Marketplace area hasn't changed that much. The big change is where they added that bridge where you can kind of like go around now. But Rainforest Cafe, a Christmas store, the Once Upon a Toy, all those things. Sometimes the stores shift a little bit, but that's pretty much the same. The little
And
train that you
they've
can ride
always
around.
had that left-handed cart there, like
Yeah.
here for the lefties. Like
The
this
little-
survived all this
the
time.
Leptorium.
Ned Flanders over here with
The
his
little
Leptorium.
train that the kids can ride, the margarita bar. That's all pretty much Ghirardelli's. That's all stayed the same. World of Disney. But as you got to stop at the marketplace. There was a stop at Pleasure Island,
And
and
then
there was
Disney
a stop
Westside.
at Westside.
You figure
And-
that was pretty smart of them because you figure when you get dropped off at Animal Kingdom, they're not
Yeah.
like, we're going to drop you off at the front
Right.
or Africa or over by Conservation Station. No, they're like, here's the front of the park.
Yeah.
Get out and beat feet and
Yeah.
start going to the park. So like these places are big regardless. So you're going to have to walk. So why take more time to get around? Everybody's fussy on the bus. The thing is, they want to get you to your destination. Disney makes nothing off the people sitting on the bus. They only make money off the people getting off the bus to one of their destinations. So the
True.
quicker they can get you into somewhere to start spending money, the better for them. And it's
Yeah.
just smart business.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, sometimes I'm let down by that because I'm like, oh, you get dropped off at the regular thing. I mean, it's not a bad walk if you have to go down to Cirque du Soleil, but if you're walking down, you're like, crap, I'm up here. And where the drops off now, all the buses just drop you off the front, which is great. Okay, I know we're skipping ahead in this stuff because we're not talking yesteryear, we're talking now. I'm going to talk now for a second, Disney Springs. So you feel like a convict when you park at Disney Springs. Okay, because you go in.
I did not see this going
No,
there.
you go into security, you're going through the metal detector, you're doing everything else. But if you're somebody on a Disney bus, you could have an RPG in your bag, and you're like, and you just walk on through
Let's
because there's
not
not
put the word out to
there.
people like the criminals.
There's no screening there.
Yeah.
Like literally, if you just ride in a
It is
Disney
a
bus,
weird setup. It is a weird
it's
thing.
not like the monorail because the monorail you go
Right.
through the TTC, you go.
Yeah.
You get in there, you
I
do security,
do-
whether you're doing the ferry,
not
whatever,
that I'm
and you're all
complaining
clear.
that we don't have to get, but I do think it's a weird theory. Like I don't understand the thinking behind that because
Yeah.
if you leave a resort to go to a park, obviously you get screened no matter which way you're getting there. Makes sense. And then Disney Springs, it is weird that like if you're coming from outside
you're
the
on a
Disney,
Disney
bubble,
bus,
you get
yeah.
screened, but if you're coming from a Disney bus, you don't. And it's like they'd be like, "Oh, they trust those people." They don't. They don't
Great.
trust them in the
Courtesy of the
park.
Bring Back the Magic podcast, you all are going to be riding with a bunch
Yeah.
of fugitives on the
I
Disney
know.
buses to go down and
I don't know.
wreak
it's
havoc
just-
at
it's
Disney
just
Springs.
Weird. It's just
No, but
weird.
it's true. Like you go there and you just walk by that one guy who really isn't paying much
I mean, they
attention.
do have a lot of security there. I do want to say they do
Okay.
have like dogs and stuff
Usually
like
it's
that.
a guy, he's talking to somebody at the watch store or something, and then his dog's looking around a little bit and he's not paying attention. so
Let's
it's
not
yeah.
make Disney Springs less safe, thanks to us.
No, it's still a safe
Yeah,
spot. I
it
mean,
is.
it's
It
fine.
is. There's a ton of security.
You got the
there.
regular sheriff's departments there, and then you got
Yes.
Disney security with their bubble wands or whatever they give
Right.
them now.
Right.
They're like, here.
Stop. What
Sorry.
I was gonna say though is I went to Disney in 2015 to Disney Springs before
That's when
before
it
they
opened.
started the renovation. Okay,
That's when
2015.
I thought that's when the new renovation opened.
2015. I was pregnant a big chunk of 2016, so I wasn't there. I went in 2017 in September, and Danny had told me, you're not going to recognize it.
Oh, no.
And I walked in, I was like, what the? Like, I mean, beautiful. Like the new town center area they built. I was like, it took me a good 3 or 4 trips before I understood where anything was there. I think the transformation is beautiful. I do think there's a lot of high-end stores there.
You ever
which
get
is kind of-
confused like where Blaze Pizza is and like the burger joint?
Yeah,
Because you're like,
Deluxe.
I know it's over
I
here.
do love
Deluxe. I'm
Deluxe
like, did I make
burger.
the It's, you know what? It's a new Communicore.
But I
It's like,
remember
which way
them
did I
saying
go?
it was going to be 172 shops and restaurants. And I'm like, can it be that there's that many? But it is crazy to me that transformation took place in basically 2 years' time. And the freaking Little Mermaid show took 5 years to do not much different. And Wonders of Life is still sitting there doing nothing. I just want to say that.
Wonders of Life, or wonder what they're going to do with it. But
Exactly. It's a good call. I'm
But
sure
no,
there'll
I
be a
enjoy,
wet
like-
spaghetti for that.
I remember when they used to do on the Disney information channel. When you get on there, it said, and visit a Disney store the size of a football field.
Yeah.
And like, it's literally, cause
I
it's
thought
like,
they said it was size of like 4 football fields when they did it.
it's like a football field.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not 4 football fields.
I'm sure it's not, but I feel like
No, it's the
they
size
had
of a,
some-
it's a square footage of like a
Let's
actual
talk
football.
World of Disney though. Let's talk about the World of Disney because that is
That's
a
changed
big
a lot too, because it used to be
transformation.
rooms in there.
I will say I have 2 thoughts on that. I don't mind that they took down the excessive amount of walls in all the rooms because I feel like I've said this on the pod before that it was very hard to find somebody when you lost them, and especially pre-cell phone days. If you were looking for somebody, you guys could be chasing each other around throughout those rooms
I just
forever.
give up and leave.
It was
I'm like,
it was a
find
lot.
your own way home, dummy.
But I do miss the excessive theming because it was a much more magical design when there was lots of theming, and wasn't even the room where was it who was
There's the
peeking
jewelry
into the room? But it was so themed out and so fun, and now it's very basic. I mean, that's the best way to describe it. It's basic, it's industrial, it's that same millennial boring style that it's like, oh, here's a brick wall and it says like magic or something on it, and then everything else is just let the stuff, I guess, be the decor. There's no decor to it whatsoever. Remember that big center section where they had like, what was it, like a castle on there, and it was so much more magical, and like
God,
a lot
your
of
memory
other
is
things.
great.
A lot of other things with Disney, it's losing it. Bring back the magic, people. Bring back the magic.
No, it's true. But I used to go in there, like, all right, you go, and obviously, because they have like a big old pile of like stuffed animal stuff like that, and those big displays. You're like, okay, let me grab this. But the prices you can afford now, it's like, oh, this is my $800 Goofy. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Oh gosh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But they had so many different little nooks and crannies in that. But I'm with you because the jewelry section I liked because it was set up like a jewelry store.
Yeah.
Like you go through, had little things. It made it kind of look a little nicer than what,
Yeah.
I don't even know if do they even have like jewelry options in the new one?
They do, but I think they're just the little spinny,
But yeah,
regular
it just-
turn it
and it
thing
just-
like anywhere else.
Yeah, it just really,
I think marketing wise, I find that I spend less money in the new version, not less like price wise, but I mean like I buy less things because the old one really was just like old Disney stores, like you talked about in the mall. It made you feel like I'm in Disney World shopping. If I feel like I'm just in a standard store shopping,
Yeah.
it doesn't give
I
me
wanna
that
be like I'm
same
walking around Nordstrom's
influence.
or
I'm not
something, yeah.
influenced by that store as much. You know what I mean? I do love mobile checkout though. I absolutely love that because if you guys are not using the mobile checkout at stores like that, I don't know what you're doing because it is so easy. All you do, you scan all your own stuff in your bag and then you go to a door and then they go, okay, let me check. And then you're out. And so all these people that are waiting in
then
these
you grab a
long
couple extra
lines,
things.
You're waiting
You're
in
like,
these long
yeah,
lines.
put
Any
this in
store,
my bag.
Creation Shop offers it. A lot of
Just
stores
kidding.
do, but Creation Shop offers it. World of Disney offers it. Like I think the Emporium offers it. Absolutely,
That's the
use
other thing
that
you were
mobile
talking about,
checkout.
like decorations and all. We used to love the Emporium windows, like
It
the,
was a highlight
all
of the trip.
The motion windows, because you get one, it's like, oh, it's a static thing, but all the motion windows at the Emporium, that was great.
That was
But,
and they
yeah.
changed them frequently. So every trip, and if there was a new movie that came out, they did Emporium windows to
something
match
fun with
it.
it.
Like during that era of Little Mermaid, Aladdin.
Wasn't the barber shop on that side, like on the left side before? That's where I remember the barber shop being before it like moved. I thought it, like, 'cause it's on the right side now, isn't it? Like Main
Here's
Street.
the thing, the opposite. When you walk into Main Street, it's the left of the Emporium. That's where Mozzie went and got his haircut. Back in the day, it used to be tucked in. You went past the Emporium, and then it was on one of those sides,
Yeah.
tucked in the corner.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So-
saying. Like,
right.
it was like you just walked, like when you went up Main Street, you made a left, or like in the middle of the thing. It was like
Right,
tucked
that's
in
where it
there.
used to be. Now it's like you get up there before you even go to the Emporium. It's on the left of the Emporium.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Back to
That's where it was when I took Mozzie for his
back
haircut
to
a couple years
Disney
ago.
and Disney Springs, the Disney Springs Village Marketplace
Downtown.
downtown things.
Downtown.
There's still a lot of great stores. Well, there's a lot of more mainstream
What
stores
do
that are
you
going in there
miss
now.
most that's not there anymore?
Gourmet Pantry is one.
Mm-hmm.
That's not there. That's a good question. Well, Pleasure Island as a whole, like I miss
Yeah.
the actual nightlife kind of thing.
Right.
I do miss Disney Quest. I think that was neat. They're putting in something similar, I think, actually, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
but I think that might be a 21 and over. I feel like when I looked at the website of that company, because it's like it's level something. That's a company that is not new Like it's been out somewhere else and it's like franchise, whatever you
With
want to
that
say.
amount of real
And I
estate,
feel
you
like
can't
it's-
afford to limit your
I would
clientele.
think so.
You can't. And that's the
So-
thing is that's what things feel like.
Also, maybe
What
I'm
was the
wrong.
one that was just in there, the NBA experience or something that lasted for like 45 minutes? They're like, opened up. Nope, we were wrong.
Grand
and then they
opening,
closed
grand
it.
closing.
And they're like, nope, we're gone.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, it didn't
Cirque
it
du
didn't fit.
Soleil is great. I think that's
It's got to
great
be
having
crazy
that option
high
there.
rent down there. Crazy high. Even if you partner in with Disney, it's just got to be
I have not been
exorbitant.
to the brewery down there, but I've heard decent things.
Oh,
My
in the
thing
end?
again, we've talked about this. On a Disney trip that I'm there for a week, I am going to
I think
spend.
Splitsville has good food.
I would ideally like to get to Disney Springs twice. I like to do one day visit and one evening visit there with mom. Sometimes that may be the gauge of whether or not we get down there. I know she loves Deluxe Burger. We have several restaurants there that we really enjoy, but it's tough because we have to go to Amorette's. I absolutely love Amorette's. Amorette's, not just, wait, let me say this first. Okay. I'm getting all over the place. Okay. So one evening there to do a dinner, a day there to do a quick service lunch like Deluxe Burger, do a little shopping. I like to get there twice because I like to see what's in the stores the first time and then think about it and then go back the second time to buy what I actually feel like I should be buying. But I feel like it's tough because there are so many restaurants that do I go to the one I know I want and I've been craving, or do I try something new?
a great
There's
place for a
still
bar crawl.
so many that I haven't tried. So we're saying I haven't tried Frontera Casino. I haven't tried Haleo. I've never eaten at that brewery, which probably wouldn't be high on my list just because I'm like, if I'm going to pick one restaurant in Disney, am I going to pick a place that's that kind of food? Probably not. I haven't eaten at Morimoto. Like there's a lot
You've
of...
eaten at Morimoto, haven't you?
I have not.
Oh, their sticky ribs are so good.
Right.
But that place, like I said, it's so great for like a bar crawl kind of thing, or just to pub hop, whatever it is. You got Raglan Road, you've got Wine Bar
And we
George,
really
you
want
got
to try that
Boathouse.
new little bar that they've adjusted outside Raglan Road that looks like really cute.
Yeah, they have the outside
Yeah.
little eatery or a little
Bar.
area. So.
Yeah. It's
And
got a
then-
special name, I think.
But that's a great place because there's so many different styles of restaurants around there. Because you can go from somewhere like here's your Irish pub to here's your refined wine bar.
There
George,
really is
with a nice
everything.
charcuterie thing. We sat up in the upstairs and had a little thing out there.
That-
That's nice.
That's my one thing with Wine Bar George, though. I get it, but if you do want to go there for dinner, it's very limited options because it's really like sharing plates. Like here's a fish and 5 forks. Like there's really not dinner option there. But I will say,
That's
when
what
it was you,
everybody-
me, and was it Caitlin and Jess? I can't remember, but
think
it was
so.
like we went and we did the little small plates, and I like places where you can get like half a glass of wine and try different things. I love that vibe. But if you're going with your family, it's not a place you're.
Here's
Maybe
the things
that's how
I
they
don't
keep
like.
people from bringing
Here's
kids.
the things I don't like. When they sit down and menu go, oh, it's tapas style. I said, I'll see you later. I was like, because they're like, you're just going to share and everybody's going to get a little bit of this. I'm like, you're just going to get this and everybody's
So
going to get
not
a
for
little.
dinner.
No, listen.
Not
listen.
for dinner. Oh.
Mute. Listen. So, anytime I go somewhere, I'm like, I'll order something. They're like, oh, everybody's going to share. And then the thing I order gets eaten. And I'm
Yeah.
like, where'd it go?
I don't like sharing food either, unless it's like.
There was a place in
meant to be.
Atlantic City when it used to be Revel, now it's Ocean.
Uh-huh.
We sat down at the table, which we had an awful wild conversation at this dinner, but I won't even get into that. But we're sitting down there and they're like, "Oh, we're ordering this." And I'm like,
Amada.
I just want to,
Amada was
Amada.
called.
I want to order my food, and they're like, "No, this." I'm like, "This sucks." I'm like,
Yeah.
"This
No,
sucks
for
out
dinner,
loud."
I don't like tapas for dinner. I like tapas if we're going for like a nibble. Like we're like, you know
If
what?
I'm going out for appetizers, you still aren't getting any of them
I know,
unless
but
I'm
I'm
doing
saying
a
for
tasting
me,
somewhere.
if we were like going like, hey, let's go grab a glass of wine, and then the option is some little plates that you
The
can taste
only
a lot of
exception,
stuff. I like that.
The only exception is something like what we were doing before. Like we went on this recent trip we were on. When you're tasting stuff for the first time, you're like, we're going to go a bunch of places on this trip. We don't necessarily want to get stuff from somewhere. We're going to try multiple places. So you go, case in point is Waialulu. Like you sit there like, there's 3 shrimp to this
Right.
appetite. It was enough for 1 for each
Yeah.
of us. And that's fine. But if I'm going because I'm hungry, I want to eat. I don't want to share with a bunch of people.
Neither.
Because then I don't want to feel like I'm trying to be considerate by not eating. Because I'm just going to eat whatever's last.
Let's
that's there.
talk
Like, you
about the
didn't get
most
to it, you haven't-
annoying thing that I think people do that is so mannerless is when mom does this to me all the time. Yeah, mom, I'm talking to you. Is when someone goes, I'll just have some of yours. Says who? Says who?
gave you
Like,
that?
oh, I thought you were gonna get appetite. Oh, I'll just have some of yours. I'm sorry. What? No, you won't. That's mine. The operative word in there is yours, as in mine, as in
I would
no,
be
you're
like,
not.
who are
No.
you talking
And
to?
God forbid someone touches my food without asking. That makes me so crazy. Someone reaches onto your
You've
plate.
seen the Friends episode, Joey doesn't share food.
Yes,
That's me.
Exactly. If we make a plan and I have mutually agreed with you to share something, okay, great. But to just presume that you can reach,
I also don't. I want
it's
to
like
be the one to
reaching into
suggest
someone
it.
else's pants without permission.
That is a completely different snack. Look, so
Maybe 14.
oh my god. That's horrible. I don't remember what I was saying now.
It's intrusive. It's intrusive.
Okay, the other thing is if you're going to share food with somebody, I would rather I was the one that suggested it than the person, because I feel guilty. Like, I want to just share this with me.
I don't.
Well, now I'm roped into this.
I don't. I have no problem saying, yes, I will eat that all by myself. So, no, you should probably get someone else to share. Chicken parm. I have no problem. Well, perfect example, chicken parm. I said to Stephanie, we were both debating what we wanted to get. So it was like, you want one of us to get this, the other, and then we can split. Sounds great. Worked out.
Didn't I also get the chicken parm? Yeah.
No. Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
We all got it.
We all thought what was walking by earlier.
But first of all,
that.
chicken parm is not Italian.
We've said.
It's not. But it's also not great regardless of where you go.
I make good chicken parm. Chicken parm. Yes, I do.
Well, says you. So, I don't think I've ever had it. So, there's places I've gone that just tastes like the straight fire oil, and it's so awful.
No, it's all about
eggplant parm.
Yes.
Eggplant
parm is better than chicken parm.
So back to what our original topic is here.
Chicken parm.
Yeah.
Not sharing food. Chicken parm. Wet spaghetti.
What was the name of the restaurant before it was Terralina's?
It was Portobello Yacht Club.
Portobello Yacht Club. Yeah. Terralina's pretty good. Their arancinis over there.
Yeah, I think they're decent. I would put them in decent. Here's my thing.
I like the macaroni grill of downtown Disney.
I want to love paddlefish.
Fulton's was before.
It was Fulton's, and before that, it was the Empress Lily. But my problem with it's not really a problem, is that I feel like the two experiences I've had, that vibe hasn't been great. It's like the one time they sat us in like the bar that like nobody else was in, that was like the far end, which would look great. It didn't smell great in there. It was, I don't know. And then when they sat us the other time,
went to a seafood restaurant. Doesn't smell so good here. It's a pungent odor. Was it fish? I mean, you're in a seafood restaurant.
It feels like a fish is battling around here. Okay. That's fair. But I've been to plenty of seafood places.
It smells like a trout's taint over here.
Best seafood doesn't smell fishy, okay? That's a rule. It's the best seafood.
If your fish smells like fish, it's bad.
Right. But I would much prefer, I don't know if these are meant to be comparison restaurants, but I think is Boathouse. Like, I think Boathouse is one of the best restaurants in Disney.
It's a gold standard for down there, yeah.
It is one of the best restaurants in Disney, and I love it. I love that you could throw in a nice little dress and go down there, even if everyone else is casual. You
can also sit out by the water, too.
Yeah, paddlefish I would like to like more. I will still go. Like, if there was nowhere else I could get a reservation, I'm not, like, opposed to it. I just want, and you know what they did do it? They freaking painted it millennial gray. They're like, here is the Alcatraz ferries. Soon.
No, they're like, it worked for the Riviera.
Right, yeah. It's just, not that. But back to what I was saying about Amorette's. What I love about Amorette's is not just that I think their food is great. I think their pastries are beautiful. Amorette's to me is an experience. When you go in, it is like the Tiffany's of pastries. You walk in, the experience is nice. You go down the line, it's pretty seamless. The service there, I've always thought was stellar. And then they package your dessert in a way that you cannot possibly feel guilty about eating that, because it makes everything feel like the definition of treat yourself. It's all packaged up in a cute little bag with tissue paper, and you're like, I deserve this. This is so nice. It just, like, you can't feel guilty about it. You can't be like, oh, this eclair's got this many calories. Nope, I won't hear of it. And then they have wine slushies there. I'm pretty sure they did last time I was there.
You open up by one.
Mom loves the chocolate chip cookies there. Absolutely. I love it. I love the vibe. It just feels high end. I think their prices are fine for what they are. And getting those little, like, they have like a little like Dole Whip eclair that they have there that I absolutely love. The little fancy cakes. They do like cake decorating classes there. But I'm a huge fan of Amorette's. I think that is a total like upgrade as far as the things that they brought into Disney Springs. Love that. You know what I'm surprised we don't go to more, though? Is I want to call it Swirls on the Water. Is that what it's called? The Dole Whip place?
Scoops?
No.
Is it Scoops or Swirls?
Danny texted us.
Yeah, but it was either one of them. She corrected
let me
us.
Look it up. Let me look it up. Keep talking. I'm going to look.
We'll
Danny's probably yelling it at the screen right now. I feel like it's Swirls, but
I think
Scoops wouldn't make sense.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Oh, I mean,
Danny's
whatever.
thing says...
You got to go through...
You keep talking while I do this.
Good luck finding that. You guys text all the time.
It's in the group text. That's why I know.
Oh my God. This is now part of our podcast. Gina searches.
I told you to keep talking. You always say I talk too much.
But you just stop with nothing to actually give a thought.
Comment down below.
Yeah, anyway. So it's you know what? We're gonna name it something else. Turtles on the Water. That's
I
what
thought
it's called.
while I was looking, you were just going to go on some kind of tangent. You were more than welcome to.
Yes, my tangent is. By the way, I love Rainforest Cafe.
I know you do.
And
And
turtles.
I do think it gets a bad rap because it's a franchise place. But like you said, it's a Landry's restaurant. I think the food is decent. I don't think if you're going to Disney on your vacation that maybe that's the place you pick if you're only going to do one Disney Springs restaurant.
Oh, no,
but don't
no,
write
like
it off.
But it's if you can get in there quick,
Yeah.
easy, effective, it's
Yeah.
great. It's
Yeah.
great. I love it.
I
love that
agree.
place.
I agree.
Plus, you can go in there and get, again, some sugary cocktails if you really wanted to. But I'm like, I'd rather just, they have a full bar. You can just go grab an actual cocktail.
This just in. It is swirls on the water. You said scoops last time as you predicted.
Yeah.
Look at us correcting ourselves. Look at
Yes,
us,
because
like
we're
a-
the best.
Like a professional broadcast. Look at us. So professional.
Jeez, too funny. But anyway, like when major stores started going, I'm going to go back to the downtown Disney
Right.
area. When major stores started
Kate
going in
Spade, Zara.
there, Zara, Uniqlo, Under Armour, Ron John. I like the addition of Ron John there because people that are like, you're not far from Cocoa Beach, first of all, with a ginormous Ron John is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually the cruise I
Sephora
have
isn't
coming
it?
up. That's one of the destinations. The bus that will take you just to Ron John. You can go to the beach too, but
Yeah.
it's like, they're running every X amount of minutes like it's a theme park.
And
It's
don't
such
they
a
have
big
like
store.
some really expensive jewelry? I don't want to say Cartier, but I know that don't they have like a Coach store in there?
Well,
Kids
they have the luxury of time, which is they sell some high end watches, to reasonable high end stuff that's like more like Breitlings and some Hublot
Yeah.
watches and things like that in there. So they do have some nice stuff. They have like the Kate Spades thing. They have Lily Pulitzer that's down there. They have whatever that one shop that Peyton likes to get her. What is those stuffed animals called? Jelly cats. So she'll go in there. They'll have a selection of a couple of them in there. I'm like, what is this? Like,
They
it's
have
weird.
that like hat store that's like all different. This amazes me because they just announced, it's a little off topic, but on topic too.
And they have a DVC lounge down there now too. It's not really a lounge.
I've
It's
never
like,
been in there.
It's if you go, it's
Welcome
it's
center.
it's by like the info center, and you go upstairs, and it's got like I think it's the 2-bedroom at Riviera. It's a model of the 2-bedroom.
Oh, that's fun.
And you go in there, but you have like again refreshment station where they have like drinks and all that stuff.
Did
in
you
there.
see that in Frontierland they're opening that new like prairie shop or whatever that's all like Western hats and like it blows my mind that there's enough of a call for that in a theme park that people are like, yes, this is
They have
where.
that hat store in downtown Disney.
But that's what I'm saying. Downtown Disney is a destination spot because like shopping, you're like, oh, let me give them every kind of thing. But are people really in Frontierland on their theme park day being like, yes? I mean, maybe because for a time the pirate shop that had all kinds of like pirate garb was getting sales. So maybe they think the same way. I don't know. But I did think that was wild that that's a store they felt like had enough call for it. But I guess, there's a market for everything. Just because it's not my vibe doesn't mean there's not somebody buying it. I'm trying to think what other favorites have been added because we didn't really
Well,
have.
I'll give you another thing. Like in there, like when they put Gideon's in. Okay, so Gideon's actually has a location in Orlando, like downtown Orlando.
Because Gideon's
has
first
it.
was introduced to Disney Springs people at the Polite Pig because they
Yeah.
were the ones that did the cookies there.
So, and they made like a destination place, which there's not a line. They said in the one in downtown or in downtown Orlando or wherever it is in Orlando. I might be making that up, but it's me. You never know. But people want the experience of going into this.
It is
Gideon's
really
and all.
cute.
I'm like, I'll be honest with you. I am not going to wait in 98-degree heat for a hot cookie, for a cold cookie.
But let's talk. The coffee cake cookies are delicious.
That's the ones that's good for me.
That's my favorite. Get that in the morning coffee cake cookie. Those are delightful. I love when they have a specialty cookie
I like the
there.
aesthetic of the restaurant. Or
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very
of the
Tim
little bake
Burton-esque
shop,
when you
yeah.
go in there. It's a cool kind of like check it out
I
sometime.
like the ganachery next door. I like the chocolate covered marshmallows, and I love the s'more from the ganachery. They make them like
Yeah.
to order. They make these s'mores that are
That's
just,
another place
It's decadent.
that
like,
makes you feel like because it's packaged and so pretty.
oh yeah, because they'll be like this. So like they have the trays out and they're like the little
Yes.
tweezers and like here, and they package them
Yes.
up for you. And again, you eat with your eyes as well as your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything you see and the experience
Yeah.
can heighten your senses. That's why you have your 5 senses. You're like, okay, I can touch this, I can hear this.
I like
can do
anything that
everything.
hits all
Yeah.
5 senses in a pleasant way. Not when the restaurant
That's like you
smells
go
like
to a place,
fish.
the food tastes like great. It's great, but it smells like
Like
farts.
fish.
Smells like farts in here. You're gonna have a great ribeye steak. Bad news.
Yeah.
Smells like poop in here.
Favorite places for
Yeah.
me there, I would say. I really, when I asked you the question, I was trying to think my answer of what do I really miss that they took away from Disney Springs. I would probably say the same answer.
I think you asked me that question. I never asked it back.
You
It's
said,
good.
no, but that's okay. But you said Pleasure Island, which I do think, do I want it there now? Like, no, but I miss it because it was a cool experience. I'm not sad it's gone. I was at the time, but I'm in a different place
I'd
in my
rather
life,
them do something to
obviously.
Atlantic Dance to make it a little more peppier in there.
I agree. I do love the Gourmet Pantry, and now Earl of Sandwich is closing. So what will
They are?
Yep. So what will be put there with that kind of maybe something better? Let's hope for something better.
The Duke
I don't know.
of Salads.
I feel like
where's a healthier?
I feel like there was
the Earl of
another-
Sandwich is closed down. Make for the Duke of Salads. All
I
right,
feel like
nice.
though, I wish I'd thought of this before the show, which I never do that. I wish I could think what there was something that used to be there that I always say like, oh, I miss this. I mean,
Good
really,
news, the left-handed cart is still there, Gina.
The
You want to
aesthetic
experience all
probably
the
a little bit
left-handed
busy.
scissors you can handle.
I like that they have some little food trucks parked around there. I think that's a fun thing that they've added to Disney Springs as well. Like there's usually one.
I'm glad to see the candy cauldrons back open, like
Me
in
too.
the
I
Westside
love
area.
that. I like Trendy. I like that store. It's over in the marketplace
fun
section.
one.
That's a good one.
And they
And
put- I
I
haven't-
like the co-op.
They have the salt and straw little ice cream thing as part of like the Rocks
I like
investments.
co-op,
yeah.
and I like Disney Home. I like stores like that I check.
They added a
frequently.
little food truck area where they have like little taco stuff and everything else in there.
Yeah, and Summer House on the Lake.
Well, Summer House is one of the best things they've added in a
And
long
that
time.
is
It's
not
so solid.
Created for Disney Springs again. That has other locations.
On the
Katie
low
actually
end,
told me she'd
Summer
been to one
House
in
is a
Chicago.
9 out of 10.
Yeah.
On the low end is a 9 out of 10.
I love it.
But
I
it's
love the vibe.
Otherwise, it's a solid 9.
It gives
to
me
10
very
for me.
Hamptons vibes. I love it. It is great service there, great menu. Our sister Missy would be annoyed if we did not mention the artichoke that she raved about. I haven't tried
Do you remember
yet.
they had the guitar store that was there too?
Yep, and the
Back
Magic
then?
Store.
Oh, the Magic
Store
Masters.
and a cigar place.
Magic Masters and Sosa Cigar Company was down there.
Look who's got a memory. Look at
Yeah.
you knowing the names.
Yeah,
I'm
Magic
proud of
Masters,
you.
because Magic Masters was a chain. They had them in Vegas too. I think they still have them out there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it was like that more up close magic stuff, and it was neat because you go in there and it's experiential. So they go, oh, and whoever's back there, and like they'd have whatever gimmick they would be running, and they'd sell a ton of them because the proof is in the execution. So like, oh, this is a simple trick you can do with this. Here, check out these cups. You're like, I gotta buy this. So you get them home. You're like,
I am not a master of
You're like,
magic,
look.
apparently.
yeah, it's. You're like, I can see the string.
On
Look,
the
you know
note of-
what?
On the note of what you just said, Josh, is Atlantic Dance the only place on Disney World property that you could go to dance?
I mean, technically, you can dance anywhere.
I know. Obviously, I have a video of myself dancing in the middle of Hollywood Studios.
No,
but
that's not true. Because you can also go to that new DJ area outside where Communicore, whatever plaza
or
is.
Morocco Pavilion.
Yeah. You can
And,
dance there. You could, or the mariachi band in Mexico.
Or at Animal Kingdom, unless they tell you just the kids and then you leave. Like me, ready for my moment. They're like,
or if
just
you want
the kids. Get
or
out.
if you want to feel judged and probably have security called on you, go into the China Pavilion, one of those stores, and dance in front of any one of them. They do not put up with your crap. They're like, get out.
And that resulted in the loss of another dragon. But seriously, I was just thinking that because I was thinking of you, me, and Law's trip that we took, just the three of us, a couple years ago in November around my birthday. And it was such a fun time. And obviously, we didn't have any kids with us. And we were just kind of like flying by the seat of our pants, whatever. And we had a lot of fun. We went to STK that night for dinner and had a really good time. And I'm trying to think, like, if you're looking for a certain vibe, because we're the three that if there was music playing somewhere, we would absolutely be up dancing. And it just made me think to myself, I guess there is nowhere.
I
that
got
you
like
can
2
do
dips
that.
left in me. I'm like, I'm getting old. My hip's going to pop out.
But I don't think there's anywhere you could do that.
No, it's Atlantic Dance. I think it's only up like Thursday through like Saturday or
Saturday.
Sunday. Yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
Thursday to Saturday. I think
So
they
maybe
have
that
those,
is
so
a
it's
little
only
sad
for-
that there's, and I do get it.
Well, I
it's
get it.
always-
Disney also doesn't want to open up somewhere that's going to be,
Trouble.
nobody's in it.
Oh.
Nobody's in it though. That's the thing. Is
That's
you don't
my
want to go like, hey, we're
favorite
gonna go
type
dance.
of place. Nobody's in it. It's my favorite.
I'm with you on jazz
Put it
clubs
on
though.
the
I
Yelp
would love a
review.
nice jazz club. Like
I
a jazz
would
club, you sit
love
there
it.
and listen. Supper club, whatever else it would be. That's the greatest vibe. And if we're gonna do something Princess and the Frog Life, I would have already done something like
Picture
that. Like a jazz
it.
club.
Picture it. Atlantic Dance 2026. No, picture Atlantic Dance and take it the way it is and make it a supper club. So full dinner available even if you just did light fare, but I would rather see full dinner available, and you have times. There's shows. There's a singer, a jazz singer.
They have
Maybe on
events
certain nights
there.
there's a jazz band. Like, I think that would be such a vibe. And you have like a 7 o'clock seating and maybe a 9 o'clock or 6 o'clock
There's
and a 9
places,
o'clock.
there's places though to go and like, I know we always end up on a cocktail kick, but there's places you don't even realize sometimes, like same thing in Boardwalk. You don't realize the Bellevue Lounge is like right there most of the
Yeah.
time. It's only open certain hours, but
Yeah, it's open from like 7 to 8.
yeah, it's open for like 1 to 1:30. The same as the Caddyshack pool in Caddyshack. Everybody's welcome. 1 to 1:30. What would you like to drink? You may get it. You may not.
Yes.
But
the
there's
capacity is
choices.
12.
My thing is now, like, I feel like one thing I can say, and this is not the case in a lot of things with Disney recently, is that downtown Disney, now this Disney Springs, has been upgraded. So this is a total upgrade, in my opinion, from what it's been. There's charm of the past, but I feel like the upgrade of the future or present and future is awesome. Like, I feel like the vibe around there is great.
I love it.
It's very walkable. It feels safe.
Yeah.
In there, meaning that you don't. It's not like most of the places in America now you go, and it's not me sitting up on my soapbox here, but you feel like you kind of like, I'm okay bringing my kids down here. I'm okay bringing my
Yeah.
family. And you don't deal with just a bunch of negative Nancys. They're going to be anywhere. You can have like, what you want to call them, Karens or not. I don't know. I feel like that's rude to people named Karen. I just don't want to say it. But you can
We'll
take
call
your
them
family down there. Yeah, you can take your family down and you have a good time. And it's a lot of fun entertainment. You got the M&M store. You got the Coca-Cola store. There's things like Chicken Guy. You've got things that are quick service options in there, and they've got that little area that you can go through and get like little boba teas or something like that in there too. It's like a Haagen-Dazs
I
place.
will say though, on the note of what I said about
Churros.
how World of Disney doesn't inspire me to buy as much because it's missing that magical feeling, I will say when I was walking around Disney Springs, I am more inspired to buy because it does just feel so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like that town center area, especially when you're walking around the palm trees that are all lit up with the lights, and it just kind of makes you
I
just
feel like
wanna
I'm more
spend.
drawn to the food cart items now. It's like, oh, this is where they get this
Yeah.
stuff, as long as it's not a cheeseburger egg roll.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's
Spring.
go into our shout outs for the week. I'm going to do a shout out this week.
Okay.
Because we mentioned this on a prior episode, actually the previous episode, DVC. So I'm going to shout out my DVC guide, Linda Tyndall. She's very sweet. I met Linda at Animal Kingdom Lodge. I was getting ready to go on a cruise, shocker, right? So I was staying one night at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So I'm in there and I'm just sitting in the entryway, and I had some question about something DVC wise, and I struck up a conversation with her, and she was so nice. She goes, "Who's your guide?" I said, "I don't know. I think it's this." She's like, she looked up. She's like, "No, it's this." I go, "They never told me I got a new guide." So we talked. I'm like, "All right, well, you could be my new guide." So I went and did the stuff or whatever, and she ended up being mine. But they're great. They check on you, and they know you have like a trip coming up. They see something in a booking, and they're like, "Hey, you're going on a trip, blah, blah, blah." And they got a million people they handle, but she was a very, very lovely woman, very sweet. So I figured I'd give a little shout out to Linda.
I would like to give a shout out to
Nope, sorry, just one. Just kidding.
to Callie in the Kingdom.
Yes,
Callie is an
yes.
awesome friend of ours that we've made on Instagram. She is also a travel agent. Follow her.
I thought
on
you were going to say she's also attractive. That's what I thought. I'm like,
She's beautiful.
Sure.
But
All
she's
right.
very sweet, has been very supportive of the podcast. So I want to give her a shout out. Check out, she has a YouTube channel as well. She does really great 5-minute comprehensive reviews
Yeah.
of hotels.
That's
so
hard
it's
to
like,
do.
I can't. You know
That's
me.
hard to do to
I
get
told her
that-
I can't
yeah.
say my name in 5 minutes. Clearly, I can't describe what spaghetti in 5 minutes. But she has a great channel. I'll ask Josh to link below because he does all that stuff. But very sweet and just, again, a great supporter of ours. And we'd like to return support. So check out Callie in the Kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of social media, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, also Facebook, but we are at BBT Magic Podcast. Also, you want to make sure that if you are watching this podcast on YouTube, that you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell on my nose that shows up every time. The
Notification.
notification to be notificated. And please comment. We love those. There are several of you that comment on pretty much every one of our videos, and we really do appreciate that. We love hearing what you think. And if you are listening on Spotify, please remember to hit that follow button, because then you will be alerted not only when a new episode pops up, which is ideally every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time, but when we hit that bonus content, that's a pleasant little surprise that pops up for you.
A little morsel of fun, if you will.
Yeah. So please, please, please check us out.
Wonderful.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. And please watch your head and step as you exit the podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.